Imagine this. Nikola Jokic goes 8 for 25 from the field, racks up 8 turnovers, and has possibly the worst playoff game of his career, and somehow, the Denver Nuggets still beat the best team in the NBA. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. The team they just beat? A squad that came into this series with a 72-4 record. And Denver, with their MVP playing like the worst player on the court, somehow pulled off the win. Even Jokic said it himself. I was the worst player on the court today, but we won. And that's the most important. That line right there? That's the most shocking moment of the entire playoffs so far. Now, keep in mind, this came just one game after the Nuggets got humiliated. They gave up 87 points in one half and basically had their pants pulled down on national TV. Everyone was ready to write them off. Everyone except Aaron Gordon. Let's talk about Gordon, because the man is turning into the clutchest player in NBA history right in front of our eyes. He hits a wide-open three to tie the game, boom. Then, he throws down a dunk. Then, another clutch three. He's doing it all. Not just once. Not just in garbage time. But when it matters most. Honestly, Aaron Gordon might be trying to become the mayor of Denver at this point. Because what he's doing isn't normal for a guy who isn't even an all-star. He's delivering on both ends, game after game. Stat-wise, he had 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists on just 11 shots. Efficient, timely, and flat-out cold-blooded. Of course, Jokic usually gets all the credit. And Jamal Murray made some big plays too. We'll talk about him later. But Gordon is finally getting the recognition he deserves. And it's long overdue. People used to think of Aaron Gordon as that dunk contest guy. But now? Put him in the same sentence as Derek White, OG Anunoby, any top-tier role player you can name. Gordon belongs in that conversation, maybe even at the top of it. This dude isn't just helping Denver win playoff games, he's saving them. And that's not hyperbole. Now, let's shift gears and talk about the guy who completely flipped the script in Game 3, Michael Porter Jr. Going into this game, it looked like MPJ was on his way to becoming unplayable. Seriously, in the first 2 games against OKC, he was practically invisible, struggling with his shot. Questionable decisions. Even his confidence looked like it had taken a hit. A lot of fans, analysts, and even some Nuggets supporters were openly asking, should Russell Westbrook start over him? That's how low things had gotten. And, to be honest, I was one of those people. The gap in performance had been that drastic. But then Game 3 happened. And Michael Porter Jr. said, not so fast. Despite coming into the game with what looked like one functioning arm and a whole lot of people doubting him, MPJ dropped 21 points, grabbed 8 rebounds, shot 7 of 10 from the field, and went 5 of 6 from 3. That's not just a good game. That's a statement game. The kind of game that reminds you exactly why Denver paid this guy. Why they believed in his ceiling. Why he's still a core piece of this roster. Even if his dribbling sometimes looks like a high schooler at open gym. Because when MPJ is locked in, there are very few players in NBA history, yes, history, who can shoot like he can at his size. Just look at this play. Murray has the ball in the post. Porter tries to cut, but Jalen Williams locks him down. Doesn't matter. Murray still gets him the ball. Porter Jr. is being contested tightly, and he still buries the 3. No hesitation. No fear. Just pure confidence and execution. On another possession, Jalen Williams is draped all over him again. And MPJ just pulls up and hits. Like the defender doesn't even exist. And that's the thing with Porter. He doesn't see contests. His release is so high. His form is so smooth. His size and length make it almost impossible to block his shot unless you're literally Kevin Durant with Inspector Gadget arms. Sure, he's not a perfect player. He still struggles to create off the dribble. His playmaking is hit or miss. But when he shoots like this, Denver becomes terrifying. Because now you're not just dealing with Jokic's playmaking. Or Jamal Murray's clutch scoring. Or Aaron Gordon flying in from the weak side. Now you've got another elite-level shooter who can go nuclear at any time, even if you think you've defended the play perfectly. This is why the Nuggets are so hard to stop when MPJ is rolling. You can't guard everyone. And if Porter Jr. starts hitting shots like this consistently, it opens up everything for the offense. And let's not forget, this wasn't some soft regular season game. This was against the best defense in the league. A team that held Denver to a blowout loss just days earlier. And MPJ torched them like it was a shoot-around. That's what makes him so dangerous. He might frustrate you 9 out of 10 times with weird decisions, awkward drives, or missed rotations. But that 10th time, when he's feeling it, he'll remind you exactly why the Nuggets are defending champions. And exactly why no one should sleep on Michael Porter Jr. Alright, so we've talked about Jokic struggling. We've talked about Aaron Gordon stepping up. And we've talked about Michael Porter Jr. going off like a flamethrower. But let's get real for a second. Denver doesn't win this game without their defense. And leading the charge? A young guy who probably doesn't get enough credit, Christian Braun. Yeah, that's right. The same Christian Braun who most people outside of Colorado still call Brown by mistake. That dude just helped shut down Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who, by the way, is about to be crowned MVP and has been completely unstoppable all season long. We're talking about a guy who carved up every defense thrown at him. Mid-range, floaters, threes, drives, Shai has been a walking bucket. But in Game 3, Shai went 1-for-8 in the fourth quarter. And that wasn't luck. That was Christian Braun putting in work. Watch this defensive sequence. Shai comes off the hesitation, looking to attack. Braun stays with him step for step, doesn't bite, and contests the floater perfectly. No foul, no bailout, just disciplined, physical defense. Then fast forward to the final minute of regulation. OKC is up 3. This is the game right here. And who's on an island guarding Shai again?
Braun.
Shai hits him with a step back, tries to create space, and Braun doesn't block the shot, but he forces a flat, off-balance jumper. That kind of defense in a playoff game, against an MVP-level scorer, is not normal. That's elite-level stuff from a second-year player. And guess what? He does it again 30 seconds later. One-on-one. No help. Shai drives right, Braun gets physical, stays chest-to-chest, and makes him settle for another tough floater that misses. These are the kinds of defensive possessions that win playoff games. And look, I'm not saying it was just Braun. This was a full team effort. Denver was throwing 2, 3, sometimes 4 bodies at Shai, the same way OKC's defense has been smothering Jokic all series long. But the primary defender on those crucial late-game possessions? It was Braun. And after 2 shaky games to start the series, he completely flipped the narrative in Game 3. He played so well, Shai didn't even attempt a shot in overtime. And that says a lot. In a playoff atmosphere, when the lights are the brightest, and your team needs a stop to save the game, Christian Braun showed up big. And that's what makes Denver so dangerous. It's not just the stars. It's not just the offense. It's the role players, guys like Braun, who buy in, play their role to perfection, and swing the momentum of an entire playoff game without needing to score a single point. If you're the opposing team, you look at Jokic having the worst game of his playoff career, you hold him to 0 of 10 from 3, you force turnovers and you still lose? That's soul-crushing. That's the kind of loss that gets in your head. And it happened because Denver's defense showed up when it mattered most. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't loud. But it was tough, disciplined, and clutch. Just like Christian Braun. Alright, we've broken down the stars, the defense, the clutch performances. But if we're really being honest, this one doesn't happen without the Denver Nuggets bench stepping up big time. Specifically 2 guys, Russell Westbrook and Peyton Watson. Let's start with Russ, because this dude deserves his flowers. Now, was this the best Westbrook game of the playoffs? No, not even close. But that's what makes it so impressive. Even when he's not at his best, he's still finding ways to impact the game. He brought defensive energy, playmaking, and most importantly, composure. You know how crazy that sounds? Russell Westbrook bringing composure to a playoff team? But that's exactly what's happening. Everyone said he'd be unplayable in the postseason. Too wild, too inefficient, can't shoot. All the usual criticisms. But here we are 3 games into this series, and Russ has been not just playable, but valuable. In this game, he gave the Nuggets solid minutes, made smart decisions with the ball, and played defense like a man on a mission. His box score didn't light the world on fire, but his presence did. And that's the thing, when your bad Westbrook games still look like this. You've got yourself a guy who's buying in, playing team basketball, doing the little things. And honestly, that's exactly what Denver needed. Now, let's talk about the real surprise of the night, Peyton Watson. Before this game, Watson was kind of a question mark. A raw athlete known for his defense, but not really someone you expected to swing a playoff game. Well, surprise. Watson was fantastic in Game 3. Defensively, he was everywhere, switching, contesting, rotating. And then came the highlight moment, a block that should be on every Nuggets fan's wallpaper. Let me paint the picture. He's 2 feet in the paint. The pass goes to the corner. And the moment it's released, Watson turns, sprints, meets a 7-footer at the rim, and just erases the shot. That's not normal. That's not just effort. That's instinct, timing, and freakish athleticism. And here's the kicker. If he keeps knocking down open shots and finishing at the rim, he's going to force Michael Malone to keep him on the floor. Because his defense is that special. Watson doesn't need to be a 15-point scorer. He just needs to stay playable on offense. If he does that, his defensive value becomes elite, like game-changing elite. And let's zoom out for a second. A lot of people thought this Nuggets team was only 6 deep. Maybe a tight 7-man rotation, max. But with Westbrook playing like a 6 starter and Watson showing real flashes, this bench suddenly has teeth. They're deeper than expected, more versatile than expected, and way more dangerous than the league is giving them credit for. When your MVP has the worst game of his career, when your offense stalls for long stretches, And when your opponent plays near-perfect basketball for most of the night, you're not supposed to win that game. But Denver did, because guys like Russell Westbrook and Peyton Watson didn't just show up, they delivered. And if this is what the Nuggets look like when Jokic stinks, imagine what happens when he gets back to normal. The rest of the league should be watching closely. Because this version of the Nuggets, scrappy, deep, resilient, is starting to look like a team that could go all the way. Again.